In the secluded town of Belhaven, nestled deep within a valley surrounded by foreboding forests, life begins to unravel when residents mysteriously start to turn to stone. Their bodies paralyzed in place as if frozen in time. What starts as an isolated incident quickly spirals into a horrifying epidemic, and the once vibrant community falls into despair. As fear and paranoia grip the remaining townsfolk, one woman embarks on a desperate quest to uncover the truth behind the curse. Welcome to the campfire. The town of Belhaven lay nestled in a secluded valley, shrouded by dense forests and towering mountains. Its beauty was otherworldly, with cobblestone streets, centuries-old buildings, and an eerie calm that permeated every corner. But beneath this picturesque facade lurked a sinister secret that would soon unfold in unimaginable horror. It began on a crisp autumn morning, the kind where the air was thin and the sky a pale gray. The town's baker, Harold, was the first to notice something was wrong. As he bent down to scoop flour into his worn wooden bowl, his fingers refused to move. Panic surged through him as he realized his hand was rigid, immovable, as if made of stone. His cries for help echoed through the empty bakery, but no one came. By the time his wife found him hours later, he was a statue, frozen in mid-motion, eyes wide with terror. The news spread through Belhaven like wildfire. Fear settled over the town, wrapping it in an invisible shroud of dread. The townsfolk gathered in the square, whispering about curses and old legends. Some blamed the ancient well at the town center, others the forest that encroached upon their borders with its dark, gnarled trees. But no one knew the truth, and the mystery only deepened. A week passed, and then another. More residents fell victim to the inexplicable paralysis. Mrs. Thompson, the school teacher, was found at her desk, eyes fixed on the blackboard, her body unnaturally stiff. The blacksmith, James, became a grotesque statue beside his anvil, his hammer mid-swing. Each new case was met with increasing hysteria, and the once tight-knit community began to unravel. Desperation drove the townsfolk to seek answers beyond their borders. They sent word to the nearest city, begging for help. Doctors arrived, followed by scientists and priests. They examined the victims, tested the water, the air, the soil, and conducted rituals and prayers. But nothing halted the relentless spread of the affliction. Those who tried to leave Belhaven found their paths blocked by fallen trees and landslides, as if the town itself had become a trap, refusing to release its prey. Evelyn, a young woman known for her fierce independence and keen mind, refused to succumb to the paralyzing fear that gripped her neighbors. She spent hours in the town library, poring over ancient texts and records, searching for any clue that might explain the curse. It was there, in a dusty tome buried deep within the shelves, that she found a possible lead. The book told the tale of a curse placed upon the town by a vengeful spirit centuries ago. According to the legend, the spirit had been wronged by the town's founders, and in her rage, she vowed to turn them all to stone. Evelyn dismissed it at first, but as the days passed and more people fell victim, she began to wonder if there might be some truth to the old stories. Determined to find the source of the curse, Evelyn ventured into the forest. The trees loomed overhead, their twisted branches blocking out the light. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and every rustle and snap of a twig set her nerves on edge. She followed an overgrown path until she reached a clearing where the trees seemed to part of their own accord. In the center stood an ancient, weathered statue of a woman, her face contorted in a mask of fury and sorrow. Evelyn approached the statue, her heart pounding. The inscription at the base was barely legible, but she could make out enough. Here lies Alara, betrayed and forsaken. Let none forget her wrath. A chill ran down her spine as she realized the connection. Alara was the spirit from the legend, and this statue was her prison. She knelt beside the statue, whispering a desperate plea. Alara, if you can hear me, please release us from this curse. We are not the ones who wronged you. Show mercy. For a moment, There was nothing but silence. Then the ground beneath her began to tremble, and a voice echoed in her mind, filled with ancient sorrow and unrelenting anger. Mercy. Did they show me mercy? I was wronged, cast out, and forgotten, and so shall they be. Evelyn's plea went unanswered. The curse continued its slow, relentless march. As winter descended upon Belhaven, the town was a shadow of its former self. The streets were eerily quiet, the once bustling market deserted. Those who remained lived in constant fear, every small twitch or ache a potential harbinger of doom. Evelyn returned to her small home at the edge of town, her hope extinguished. She watched from her window as snow began to fall, blanketing the town in a suffocating white. She felt the first twinge of stiffness in her fingers and knew it was only a matter of time. Days turned into weeks. Evelyn's world grew smaller as her body became increasingly unresponsive. She could no longer walk or even stand. She spent her days in a chair by the window, watching the snow pile higher and higher, trapping them all in a frozen tomb. The silence was deafening, broken only by the occasional distant scream as another soul succumbed to the curse. In the final days, Evelyn's mind wandered to the past. She remembered the laughter and warmth that once filled the town, the friends and family now lost to the curse. She thought of Alara, the spirit whose vengeance had brought them all to this end. In her last moments of consciousness, she wondered if there could have been another way, a path to forgiveness and redemption that they had missed. But it was too late. As the last light of life faded from her eyes, Evelyn became another statue in the town of Belhaven, frozen in time, a monument to the enduring power of anger and the inescapable grip of fate. The town of Belhaven became a ghost town, its streets lined with statues of its former inhabitants. The wind whispered through the empty streets, carrying with it the stories of those who once lived there. And above it all, the statue of Alara stood as a reminder of the curse that had claimed them all, her eyes eternally watching over the silent, stone-bound town. Thank you for joining me this evening. Before you go, make sure you subscribe and leave a like. If you have an idea for a short, scary story, leave it in the comments below. See you at the next campfire.